Hey Warriors fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Chat Sports, and today we have a fresh, hot off the presses Golden State Warriors news and rumors video for your guys' viewing pleasure. A couple of fun videos here, a couple of fun news segments that we can jump right into, starting with Damion Lee. And the Warriors are reportedly, multiple sources are saying they have offered Damion Lee a two-way contract. Now again, you're wondering, Damion Lee, yeah, he did play for Golden State last year at the shooting guard position, but he's more of a G leaguer that they kind of go back and forth with, and that's how a two-way contract essentially works in the NBA, where a two-way deal essentially says, hey, you'll play the bulk of your time in the G League, we can also call you up for a maximum of 45 games to play actually with the Golden State Warriors. That's what they did with him last year, and they really like him to the point that they've offered him another two-way contract. The issue is that he is now waiting to see if another team would give him a guaranteed spot on their roster, right? Because if you're a G leaguer, your goal is to play in the NBA, and so the two-way deal is like, oh yeah, well you can play in the NBA for up to 45 days whenever we need you. It's kind of like calling up minor league prospects in the MLB. It's a little different, but it gets you the right idea there. But Damion Lee is waiting for a potential guaranteed spot, and so we'll see how long that takes. But it looks like the Warriors have officially offered him the contract and are hoping that he signs. That way they could add a little bit more, further down on the depth chart to that shooting guard position. Now, what's fun about Damion Lee, he's actually the brother-in-law of Steph Curry, right? So there's a little lobbying being done there by his brother-in-law saying, hey, we want to keep him in Golden State, offer him the contract, and we shall see. Again, not many Warriors fans are going to, fully remember back to the times that Damion Lee played this past year. Did play in 32 games, averaged 4.9 points per game and 2 rebounds. Big news here, shot basically 40% from three-point land and had a game, I think it was April 9th against the Pelicans, if I remember correctly, where he dropped 20 points. Right, so, trying to develop those young guards. This is a way in the back of the depth chart prospect here. But at the same time, the Warriors are interested, and it could be kind of a final move here to put the bow on what the roster looks like right now. Moving right along, this one to me is the big interesting one of the day. Did Kevin Durant force the Warriors to give up more in the whole Nets acquisition of Kevin Durant? Because again, it was a whole sign and trade situation. So remember, the Warriors way back when were shopping Kevin Durant to try and see if they could get something in return for him, and the Nets were like, oh hey, we'll offer you D'Angelo Russell. So reportedly, the original deal was Durant for Russell straight up, right? Which I think a lot of Golden State fans would go, yeah, I mean, we're going to lose Durant anyway in free agency. Let's get something in return straight up we're going to lose Durant straight up for D'Angelo Russell. I'm all for that. Well, Durant heard that and reportedly did not think that that was fair because he did not want the Nets to lose out on the trade. He wanted them to get something in return. And so apparently Durant went back to the Warriors and said, no, I won't, this is not going to work. I'm going to force you guys to throw in that conditional 2020 first-round draft pick. And Brian Windhorst from ESPN is all over it in this quote right here. We'll throw it up on the screen, where he says, there was a series of squeezes put on the Warriors, a position with which they were not familiar with, or they are not familiar at all. First, Durant initially balked at being traded for Russell straight up, multiple sources said. He didn't think it was a fair deal, and in this case, the Warriors had not just satisfied the Nets, but also had not to just satisfy the Nets, but also Durant, Leverage was applied by the player, and Golden State had to include a first-round pick before Durant would agree to the sign-off. Interesting, right? You sit there and you kind of go, man, the NBA is a league where players have a ton of power. We know that. But Durant, at the same time, kind of did a little, what guess I call it, a little spurn out the door. Was he kind of like, yeah, I want to make sure I get these Warriors here? I don't know if it was due to ill intent, if it was like hey, I'm Kevin Durant, I don't like the Warriors anymore, I'm going to spite them, the injury, all that problem. Or if it's simply like, hey, I'm going to the Nets. This straight up for D'Angelo Russell is going to hurt us a little bit because we lose a good player there. We need to get at least something in return. So it could be one, it could be the other. I thought I'd bring that up to you guys because the national media, of course, is not talking about it that much. And so being here on Chat Sports, your Warriors reporter, I wanted to get that for you guys up front and center. So we'll go quick question here. Are you upset the Warriors caved to Durant's request? Now, again, you just say no and say happy with Russell, draft picks or whatever. But at the same time, I'm curious what would have happened if they would have gotten to a little battle here with Kevin Durant said, no, the Nets have accepted it. We're going to send you anyway. I don't know. Could have gotten a lot more ugly, a lot more messy than actually, the whole process actually turned out there. But again, Durant, forced his way off of the Golden State Warriors and kind of forced their hand there to include a first-round draft pick. I'm curious your guys' thoughts. Again, scroll down below and comment. So, this next story is absolutely hilarious because it has to do with Shaq, right? You're going, what? And now it gets even better. It has to do with Shaq and his comments back in 2004. So there's an old video surfacing of young Shaq making a bet, right? So Shaq says in this video, it's like an ESPN NBA interview video or whatever, that if an NBA coach makes it to 4 finals in 5 years, he would kiss their feet, and doubled down and said he would put cheese on their feet, yeah, this is weird, right, and kiss it on Fear Factor, because remember, Fear Factor was still a thing back in 2004. The context of this is, of course, Shaq had just been traded from the Lakers, who had been in the finals, what was it, 1999 to 2003 to 2004, during that nice run during the Shaq and Kobe years. And he's talking about Phil Jackson, who had just done this, the 4 out of 5, making it to multiple NBA finals in a row. And so Shaq had just been traded to Miami, maybe was a little bit bitter, talking about how much he liked his former coach but not the organization, and put this wager down. So what's funny is that Steve Kerr has just been notified of this. We'll throw up the tweet here on the screen. So Steve Kerr, of course, has done this now, right? How many finals we've been to? He's won 3 and then lost 2, so he's been to 5 over the past few years. So Steve Kerr says on Twitter, hey, at Shaq, I'm going to do us both a favor. Pretend that D. West, I'm guessing Delonte West or David West, it's probably, actually, it's definitely not Delonte West, it's David West, didn't send this to me this morning, and then there's the video right there. And Shaq responded, I guess I'll see you in Fear Factor and make sure it's Kraft Cheese, LOL. It's great, right? I mean, come on, it's just funny to see it moving around here on Twitter. I'm sure you guys maybe have seen it, maybe you haven't. If you haven't seen it, just Google Shaq feet quote, and I'm sure it'll pop right up. But it's a real blast from the past. And again, Steve Kerr's coaching record, like we know how great it is. 322 and 88 all-time with Golden State. It's like a 78.5 win percentage. In the playoffs, 105 and 77. He's, of course, a 3-time NBA champion as a head coach in Golden State. So no surprise there. Hey, would he, are they going to make another finals this coming year? Keep the streak, keep extending those streaks of finals that they've been going to over the past 5 years? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough. But at the same time, just a fun little joke there that Steve Kerr and Shaq are playing, and I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Okay, next one as we move along here. Steph Curry was talking about his legacy in an interview with The Athletic and how Kevin Durant actually kind of helped get him in the right mindset. So, in this interview with The Athletic, he talked about the 3 years that he shared with Kevin Durant, essentially the past 3 years, and Steph mentioned that he feels more secure in himself now than ever before. Curry now, the unquestioned leader, obviously with Durant being gone and Klay Thompson injured, but it was an interesting article talking about essentially how Steph kind of had to change who he was and figure out who he was when Durant arrived and how he would stay relevant in the organization and in the NBA. And we know Steph to be a selfless guy. But it was interesting to see in this article about what it was like playing with Durant. There's a quick quote here from The Athletic. It says, Curry said, quote, "It cemented my personality, how I see the world and what makes me go amidst the heights of where we were at for the last 3 years. Not a lot of people experience what we experienced in terms of criticism, attention, the intensity of basketball, the level we were playing at." So again, he's talking about the headspace, talking about how he is kind of more secure in himself than ever before. And imagine what he's gone through the past 3 years, because you sit here and you go, oh, well, past 3 years, made the NBA Finals, they're winning NBA Finals, it's got to be a good life, right? At the same time, remember the criticism the Golden State Warriors got by adding Kevin Durant? The national media ripped right into them saying, you already won 73 games, you don't need to bring back another superstar, this means Steph Curry's going to play second fiddle, take a back seat, what does this affect his legacy? A lot of noise, right? These guys had to deal with. And then, what do? They go out, win back-to-back finals with Kevin Durant, and then made it to the finals this past year. Obviously, Durant was injured, Klay Thompson was injured, so a whole different story. But it's good to see that Steph Curry is right, in the right mindset going forward. And now, maybe changes just a little bit as he gets ready to inherit what is going to be his and his team alone in 2019, and still Klay Thompson, until Klay Thompson is back. You've been seeing the stats on your screen, listen, Steph Curry in 2018. So good. 27 points per game, 5.2 assists, 43.7% from three-point land in the 69 games that he played. So we're going to see what these numbers are going to look like without Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. As again, Steph now takes the reins, he is maybe he wasn't in the past, but this is as his team as it's ever been. The numbers going to be similar? Are they going to be better? Are they going to be worse? I'm curious what we're going to think. I'm curious what you guys think as well. Do you think Steph Curry can win an MVP this season? I think he can. I've talked about this on this show before. Because there's no Klay, no Steph, or no KD, he might have to ball out even more. And if he gets this Warriors team into playoff contention, which I think he will, and 30 points a game, essentially what he could be averaging, could be an MVP type season for Steph Curry. I'm curious to you though. Scroll down, let me know down below. And finally, it's the viral trend that is sweeping America right now. Let's see. Use the Face app. What the Warriors look like with a little bit of age on them. So maybe at this point in their careers, they would have won 10 or 11 NBA Finals. We'll throw up Steph Curry on the board right there. Not bad, right? You see Steph Curry, go to Klay Thompson now. I mean, all of them, I think, as we move through this list. There's Klay, here's D'Angelo Russell. This one's pretty good. They all look, aged pretty well, right? Finally, Draymond Green. I mean, what do you want to do? This app is really weird. I did it for myself, and you go, I look just like my father whenever I did it. So it's, the future's coming, and here's what your Warriors will look like, 50 or 30, 40, 50 years from now. Are they still playing at this time? Obviously not, but I figured it'd be a fun little bonus video or bonus clip in here as we show you, of course, the viral trend that is sweeping the nation. The Face app, which changes your face from the young self that it is, or not, in case you're watching, to what you look like in the past, and there were your Golden State Warriors as they will look in just in a couple decades of their life. All right, that's all the time we have for today on this Golden State Warriors news and rumors video. Again, if you subscribe to Chat Sports, that way you can always be ready to go and always notify whenever I release a new video or someone else on the channel releases a new video. We have plenty of more Warriors content coming up. And I know a lot of you guys are San Francisco 49ers fans as well, right? Same area. I do those videos as well. So if you want to see some San Francisco 49ers news and rumors videos, be sure to subscribe down below as always. All right, for Chat Sports, I am Thomas Mott signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.